Gear Patrol calls their new dive watch the best sub-$500 dive watch. Full stop. Men's Health rated them as the most stylish solar watch in the game. Who we talking about? It's Movement. They're leveling up your gift giving with the sleekest watches you can buy and the biggest deals of the season. Shop 30 to 50% off Movement's innovative California clean watches, jewelry, and accessories with fast free shipping and returns now at MVMT.com. That's MVMT.com.
Looking for a fun way to win up to 25 times your money this football season? Test your skills on Prize Picks, the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projection for a wide variety of statistics, and place your entry. It's as easy as that. If you have the skills, you can turn $10 into $250 with just a few taps. Easy gameplay, quick withdrawals, and an enormous selection of players and stat options are what make Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Ready to test your skills? Join the Prize Picks community of more than 7 million football fans who have already signed up. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. Just visit prizepicks.com/get100 and use code GET100. That's code GET100 at prizepicks.com/get100 for a first deposit match up to $100. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy.
Hey guys, this is Colin, your host. I'm here with Rylan and Ashton. Go ahead, guys.
What's up, guys?
What's up, everyone?
Today, we are talking on what you guys voted on consoles versus games, and consoles won. So, all right, well, Ashton, give me your number 5 console of all time to you.
Number 5 is the PSP, PlayStation Portable. The reason I chose it as my number 5 is because for its time, it was a very powerful console to be a handheld. You had really powerful games on it to be such a small, device. Because at that point, we was just used to Game Boys or DSs, and that came out, and it was a lot more powerful than those, and it just had a huge library of games. So that's why it's my number 5.
So powerful, in fact, that, like how you said on the last podcast, it was able to run a full Ben 10 game opposed to it being nerfed down for a console, like a handheld.
Right, and full 2K games, and it was just a lot of full console games made it over to the PSP. They didn't have to change them. Like I talked about last podcast, MX versus ATV Unleashed, they released it as On the Edge on the PSP. It's the exact same game.
As you say, it pretty much had the whole entire setup of a PS2, just obviously in a portable setting. Was that not what they was going for, correct?
Yeah, the layout is more towards the PS3, but the capability and the games were for more of a PS2. It did only have one analog stick, though. Instead.
But it fell in between the PS2 and the PS3 release.
Yes.
All right, Rowan, what's your number 5?
Probably the PS3. And the reason for that, I like the PS3 and all, but it's not my top pick or anything.
Obviously, it's your number 5.
Yeah. But it's on number 5 is just because, well, I just played other consoles more and everything, which I had played the PS3 quite a bit. Had fun on it, really. Had a whole bunch of different games and everything. Could play online, stuff like that. It's really just
for free.
Yeah.
Play online for free.
Yeah. Didn't have to spend Xbox Live Gold or anything.
Right. That was a big deal back in the day. That a lot of people said that's why the PS3 is better, because you got it for free. Whether like with Xbox, you had to pay for the Xbox Live. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. I no longer paid a $60 subscription fee for it, but it's that's just because my Xbox is still in West Virginia.
Yeah.
But in saying that brings me to my number 5, the Xbox One. Just
Pretty
because,
moderate.
yeah, it's. I mean, I know it's pretty high on the list, but as far as the Xbox One goes, it's what we're currently playing on. I mean, yeah, there's the next gen, but I don't have the next gen yet, so I can't say, oh yeah, this one's better or worse or whatever. But
Right.
just the Xbox One, that was one of the first ones. Well, not one of the first ones. It was actually one of the last ones that I had console wise. But it started out, got it during the launch of it. So I mean, it was a huge deal whenever I did get it, and then which of course had sucky internet at the time, so I couldn't hardly ever download the games, and that's pretty much why it's number 5 on my list is because the time that I got it, it took forever to download games because they wasn't megabytes anymore; they was gigabytes
Yeah.
Right. Did
of
you still have
data.
Frontier when you got it?
I still had Frontier when I got it. Actually,
Yeah.
I never. My first game that I got for it was NBA Live 14, not 2K, but NBA Live, and
Yeah.
to this day, it's never been downloaded on there because it got like halfway through and it just didn't have enough internet. Which, like I said, I think it was my internet's fault that I don't like the system as well as what I should.
Right.
But I don't care. It should have, like I said, just that switch from megabytes to gigabytes. I think is what really caused the damage. I mean, it's all good now because there's hard. I mean, yeah, Frontier still exists, sadly, but it's capable of running it nowadays.
Yeah.
Not much better, but at least it'll download it.
Yeah, at least it would download it because I mean, obviously, I had Frontier at the last house I was at, not by choice because that was the only service out there, and it actually, downloaded, and we was actually able to play online quite a bit. It was just you couldn't be on. It was pretty much you may as well had DSL because if you was on the cell phone while you was playing games, it would just like, nope, you're not working.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the number 4 slot.
All right. My number 4 is the Game Boy Advance SP. And I've talked about this one in earlier podcasts as well. But I have it marked here for the portability and games on the go. Because when we were younger, we've talked about that was our first handheld device. Well, the Advance was. I just put the SP over the Advance because the SP is a little bit more portable. You can put it in your pocket a little easier.
Yeah.
But just games on the go was a big thing back in the day. Now you don't really think about it much because you have the Switch. I mean, that's kind of took that over. But just games on the go was a big deal back in the day, and so that's why it's so high on my list.
Yeah, and if you don't got a Switch, it's pretty much like I said in one of the previous ones, you can just get on your phone and play games too. Like before we got hopped on here, I was playing Madden 23 on my phone. Like it ain't,
Yeah.
that far of a stretch to take your phone as a portable device anymore.
Right. Yeah.
What about you, Rowan?
The PSP. I just
Okay.
it's probably my favorite handheld. Like I said in the last podcast, it was also the first ever console I ever played. So I played it played yours quite a bit, Ashton. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Played as much as, of course, like Xbox or anything, but still my first ever thing I ever played. I used to play a whole bunch of one of the racing games you had on there. Was one of the MX. I played that a whole bunch. It was really
I think it was MX First State to be Untamed.
it was that. And that was the first ever game I played on your PSP. Also,
First ever game you ever played.
it was a really good game. I really enjoyed
It is a good game.
MX vs. ATV Untamed.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a good game. I'll agree. I had it on the PS2.
I like Unleashed better, but Untamed's all right.
Speaking of PS2, that is going to be my number 4 slot.
Okay.
I'm saying that just because, yeah, it fell, and we've talked about it quite a bit recently. But, 6th generation of gaming, like I said last week, had sports games on it, and that's no reason why. Yet again, not really a fair reason why it's number 4 on my list, but at the same time, it is a fair enough reason because the only thing I really played on it was the God of War series or, sports games. So for me, it's just like, oh, okay, I can play any sports games I want to now. And God of War, yeah, I still need a PlayStation to play it. But like I said, any sports game, and like I just go with the Madden. I literally was playing Madden on my phone before we got on here. So, like I said, for the PS2 for me, it has a bunch of great memories on it. Like I said, Madden '08 and games like those. But as far as actual memorability goes for me, it was just what I played on it. And like I said, every single game I played on it, still exists to this day, franchise wise.
GTA.
GTA, they still exist even though they haven't had a game in almost 10 years to release.
Yeah, that's crazy. They just poured over the GTA 5 to every console coming out.
They
Yeah, I
took a
think,
note out of Destiny's handbook, the
Yeah,
10-year plan.
yeah. And the PS2, I I forgot that really only thing you had on it was God of War and sports games. And I'm surprised that you was able to play the God of War game, like allowed to play that.
Yeah, because GTA I wasn't allowed to play it. It was always a sneaking thing whenever I was playing it with you or Carter.
Yeah,
But it was a hack and slash, and if I'm not mistaken, was pretty sure there was a setting on the older God of Wars to not show gore.
I think
I'm
there
not
was.
sure. I know I just started. I've never played God of War before. I never even played at your house, but I did start the first God of War on my Ain't Odin a couple weeks ago, and I'm pretty far into it. It's pretty fun, but I haven't checked the settings to see if the gore if you can turn it off or not. But it is a
Yeah,
fun
I may
game.
be
I like
I may
hack
be
and slash
remembering it
games.
wrong because obviously we know I don't got the best memory in the world, but from my recollection of it, I do think I know Mortal Kombat obviously had a gore setting for the uh older Nintendo systems, but like I said, I'm pretty sure God of War had one for the PlayStation as well.
I mean, yeah,
Just because at that point the ESRB rating was still somewhat new to the everybody.
yeah,
Because Mortal Kombat was the reason why it even anything had. Mortal Kombat is the reason why it got laid out for how it was, the ESRB.
yeah,
But like I said, at that point, I think that happened in the mid 90s, and then obviously God of War came out in the early 2000s. So, like I said, they still hadn't really had it figured out like they do in today's time.
yeah. They got it figured out pretty well nowadays. The
But back then, it
ranking,
was like, okay, just a couple years in, how is this going to work?
yeah,
So, like I said, I still think they had edited versions back then of everything. Because you could turn an M game into a E10 plus game, which didn't even exist in 2002. It was you either had E, T, or M,
yeah. Now
or
they got a bunch
AO.
of different ones. There's some now for in between.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go on to number 3.
All right, my number 3 is the Xbox 360,
Xbox
and
360.
there's really not much you can say that hasn't been said already about it in the past. It's a great system, powerful, and the main reason I put it on my number 3 is because of all the old Call of Duties are on it. You know, especially starting from World at War all the way to Black Ops 3, I think was the last one on it. And just in between, those are some great Call of Duty games, not just Call of Duty games, all the other games that were all the Halos. I think it was the first 3 Halos was on it, or maybe 4
Mm-hmm.
Halos. And those were good games, exclusives. The first couple Forza Horizons exclusives. It's just a great system. I have a lot of nostalgia for. It's the first console that we played online together, me and you, Colin, and
Yep.
Rylan. You grew up around the 360 a lot, playing with me and Colin online.
Yeah.
So that's why it's on my number 3. It's a great system.
Mine's probably the original Xbox One. Whenever it came out in 2013, I'm pretty sure I got it like 2015. I remember when Ashton first ever got
One?
it. Yep, the original, the dinosaur.
The dinosaur.
Yeah.
The dinosaur.
I haven't played it in about 2 years though. Just because, I have everything I have now, like my PlayStation, my PC and everything, but I just had a great memories just from the Xbox One itself. I met a whole bunch of people online that I'm actually still friends with to this day, surprisingly. And I've
I
had
remember Rylan when you was playing when you was younger. You used to talk to weird old men online playing Call of Duty.
Yeah,
know.
that's true.
But yeah, I just probably one of my favorite consoles overall. Just had a whole bunch of memories on it and everything. It's
Good
one of the main consoles I actually ever owned. So
You had the original Xbox One.
yeah,
They bought you one after they bought me one, right?
yeah, I think it was like a year or later or something like that.
Yeah.
Because I got it on like Christmas. I remember my dad. He said like he got me a PlayStation 4. I got so mad at him. No, I want an Xbox.
Yeah, I like Xbox better.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a rival, but it's not as big as a rival what it used to be because now there's cross-platform games.
Back in the 360 and the PS3 days, it was huge, rival-wise. And then, the Xbox One, PS4 was too, but nowadays it's kind of toned down some.
Oh yeah, like I said,
Which
the
back
introduction
then,
to cross-platform games.
Yeah, well, that and Nintendo kind of was out of the picture. It was just the main two, Microsoft and Sony at that time, because the Wii U was a failure. So Nintendo really wasn't in it. But, now Nintendo's in the conversation, and they're arguably the top dog right now. So
Yeah,
it kind of eliminates Sony and Microsoft's feud a little bit with Nintendo being there so strong.
yeah, true.
Beat a Switch.
Yours is the Switch?
Switch. Only reason why it's not a little bit higher is because I'll hardly ever take it into handheld mode, just for convenience sakes, which is, I mean, obviously a great perk for it because last time I checked, you can't take your Xbox One or PS4 on the road with you.
Right.
Games on there that's, 6 years old at this point, and they're still wanting $40 for it. So that's why they're so high up for me on the list, is just because, like I said, the capabilities there, it's a great system, love it to death, but at the same time, like I say, when it comes to exclusives and what they want you to pay for stuff is just insane being Nintendo.
Yeah, but they've been around so long, they just expect people to pay the price, and they do. So that's why they're priced so high.
Yep, but I refuse, so they are on my personal number 3 list.
Yeah, Switch, it's a great system. I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you, it didn't make my top 5, which is surprising. But I went more of a retro route for my top 5.
More nostalgia hits.
Yeah, pretty much. Number 2. My number 2 is the PS2. And Colin, you had it lower on the list, but I have it at my number 2. Just mainly because of the games, because we've talked about it before, so many games on that system. You had all the sports games on it. You had so many Sony exclusives. You had great third-party support for the system. The only drawback I'll say on the PS2 is the DualShock 2 controller. I've never been a big fan of the DualShock. It's not that comfortable for me. So that's the only drawback I'll put on the PS2. But other than that, it's great. And yeah, that's all I'll say about it.
Gear Patrol calls their new dive watch the best sub-$500 dive watch. Full stop. Men's Health rated them as the most stylish solar watch in the game. Who are we talking about? It's Movement. They're leveling up your gift giving with the sleekest watches you can buy and the biggest deals of the season. From their innovative ceramic materials to sexy automatic divers, from ultra-thin dress watches to solar-powered statement pieces, and everything in between, Movement is making sure you're the good gifter this year, for your family, your friends, or for yourself. And now you can take advantage of 30 to 50% off Movement's California clean watches, jewelry, and accessories to get them a gift they'll never forget. With fast, free shipping and returns and amazing bang for your buck, Movement makes for a relaxed shopping experience. And with one-size-fits-all watches, it's an easy, elegant gifting experience too. Shop 30 to 50% off now. at MVMT.com. That's MVMT.com.
Looking for a fun way to win up to 25 times your money this basketball season? Test your skills on Prize Picks, the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projection for a wide variety of stats, and place your entry. It's as easy as that. If you have the skills, you can turn $10 into $250 with just a few taps. Easy gameplay, quick withdrawals, and injury insurance on your picks are what make Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Ready to test your skills? Join the Prize Picks community of more than 7 million players who have already signed up. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. Just visit prizepicks.com/get100 and use code GET100. That's code GET100 at prizepicks.com/get100 for a first deposit matchup to $100. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy.
At Grainger, we're for the ones who specialize in saving the day and for the ones who've mastered the art of keeping business moving. We offer industrial-grade supplies for every industry with same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders, all backed by real people ready to help. So you can get the right answers and products right when you need them. Call, clickgrainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, you probably will believe this if I tell you I changed my list around a little bit once you started naming off titles because I actually had my PlayStation 2 at number 2 myself. And then I hurried up, moved it to number 4 because I anticipated you doing something else for that. I was like, well, I'll go ahead and make a difference since I already know Ashton done it because I have PSP at number 5. I have PS2 at number 2 just because I know number 1 is the same.
Yeah, I figured making this list, I knew our number 1 was going to be the same.
So, like I said, as soon as that's why, since I was hosting this one, I was like, I'll know what Ashton's going to choose, and then once he does, I'll rearrange mine as we go. That way, we don't have the same exact answers again.
Yeah, I think Ryland's number 1 will be different than ours.
I guarantee
hope so.
it.
Yeah.
But Ryland, what is your number 2?
The Nintendo Switch. I just love it. Yeah, I like how you can how Ashton he modded Switch. Also, did you mod your Switch, Ashton?
I modded the dock.
Yeah, you modded the dock, but you could just play a whole bunch of different stuff on it. You can go back to older games from the Nintendo 64 and stuff, and too. It's really cool. You can just go back to older games from the previous Nintendo consoles and everything on it, like Mario and Legend of Zelda and stuff like that. It's one of the reasons I really like the Nintendo Switch. It doesn't have the best frame rate, but it's still a really smooth console for just 30 frames. And probably my favorite game on there was probably Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Just a great game overall.
Oh yeah, definitely. Game I'll never 100%.
I 100% of the shrines, but I'm not getting all 900 Korok poop seeds. I'll tell you that.
They say I'm not about getting 900 Korok turds.
Yeah, that's not for me. Now the shrines, they were fun to complete, just the different puzzles to get to them, and then the puzzle to complete them.
Ryland, did you get all 120 shrines?
What?
Did you hit all 120 shrines?
I think I was pretty close. I didn't really get to play much. I only got to play some on Ashton's.
Oh.
I don't have one. Hopefully, I'm going to ask my mom for Christmas. She can just give me a Switch.
Yeah. And you can play 2K with us.
Yeah. I was going to say, we got to find Cole's 2K replacement.
Well, he might play with us again.
He might play with us. You guys might hear Cole again on a live stream.
If we have 4, then we can almost have a full program if we find another player.
That's true, too.
But, Ryland, you was talking about the frame rate. There are a few games on the Switch that do run 60 frames. One of them being the remake of Skyward Sword, being Skyward Sword HD. That's one of them.
I was going to say, it's more geared towards the more recent games released on it.
Yeah, they kind of figured it out. When it first released, they was not wanting to push it to the max, but now they're able to figure out in development how to develop the game and make it run a steady 60 instead of
Oh
it
yeah,
dipping
which
down
is
a lot.
which is still saying something, especially since if you get I mean, obviously you can buy any game that they have on there digital too, but just imagine the capabilities that they have with how tiny the actual, not disc, but the little insert there is for it for the games.
Cartridge.
Yeah, cartridge.
Yeah, just it's crazy. The cartridge, I mean, Nintendo with the NES, they started out with cartridges and those are huge. And the quality, the graphic quality is junk. And now the cartridges are so small and the
I
graphic
would say like
quality
the
is
size
so
of your
high. It's
pinky
just,
finger, like
yeah,
nail,
it's just
your pinky
crazy
nail.
how much technology has advanced that they can fit so much stuff on that little tiny cartridge and make it look so good.
Yep. What is it? My number 2 now?
Yep.
My number 2 is the Xbox 360, which was at my number 4 slot. Then Ashton chose something else, so I was like, okay, I'll go ahead and do PS2. But Xbox 360, great games on it, as we've already discussed a couple times throughout this podcast. 360 had great games. Had my first Call of Duties on there. Still play sports games. Still done my 2Ks, my Maddens. Actually, I didn't. That's really when I got out of Madden for a little bit, because I remember having Madden 12 for it, and then Madden 13. Yeah, Madden 13,
Yeah.
and
You had
then
it.
once the Xbox One came out, I got Madden 25 because that was their 25th anniversary, even though it was 2014. Then after that, I didn't play Madden again until like 2019. And then I pretty much boycotted them in 19 because they had Nick Foles as a lower passer catching rating than Tom Brady, which is the reason why the Super Bowl was the way it was that year.
Yeah. That's the reason
But
the
I
Eagles
mainly done
won.
that as an Eagles fan. But since Brady was a 99 overall and Foles was like I think a 92 overall that year, they had to make Brady's stuff higher, obviously. And they was like, oh yeah, we're going to give Brady a better catcher rating than Nick Foles. I'm just like, Nick Foles caught his touchdown pass. Brady didn't catch his pass. He dropped it.
Yeah.
So I boycotted Madden for a bit. But as far as the 360 goes, uh, more games. I actually once I was mature enough, I guess technically I didn't play Madden. I mean, not Madden. GTA out of the wrongness that time. So I downloaded GTA San Andreas on it because I found it on sale on Xbox Gold for like $4 one time. I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to do this, and I beat that game. So I beat San Andreas. Uh, like I said, all the Call of Duties that I had on it, from Black Ops 2, no, Ghost. Yeah, I even had Ghost on it because I had Ghost on both systems.
Yeah.
And then had 2K14. I think I got 2K14 off of Ashton that one time because you actually got a better, instead of them doing what they do now with 2Ks, and you got a better game for the next gen. The previous gen this year had the best 2K because the 2K14 on the Xbox One wasn't worth anything, and then the
Yeah.
Xbox 360 version actually had the path to greatness.
It had everything. It had a more filled out my career mode too than the Xbox One version.
You ready to hit our number ones?
Yeah. My number one is the GameCube, and it's just the greatest system of all time. The nostalgia that really it pulls me every time for the GameCube. I just love that system, and the games. We've already talked about it before. The games. There's so many different, game genre games for it. So, I mean, to choose from to play, all classics. And the third party support wasn't the best because the GameCube is considered a failure by sales numbers. But everybody that talks about it now, the only thing bad they say about it is it's a lunchbox because it has a handle. That's the only thing they can say about it. Other than that, they can't say nothing about the games or the controller. Greatest controller, one of the greatest controllers of all time. It's my personal favorite, but I know, Colin, you prefer the Switch controller over the GameCube controller. But
Yes.
yeah, just a great system overall.
What about you, Rylan?
This is gonna surprise you, but the Super Nintendo.
Wow.
Okay.
Way before your time.
Yeah, I know.
Way before our time.
Yeah.
But gave me a system just like the Super Nintendo, probably like 6 years ago, and it's just basically the Super Nintendo, and you can play every like cartridge and everything. I've played probably over 50 games on it, and just had an amazing like experience playing it and stuff. Yeah, it's way for my time, but
By accident?
what?
Didn't I give? Correct me if I'm wrong, but for whatever reason, I ordered two like NES, SNES combination things, so it wasn't a true Super Nintendo. I thought I gave it to you, or Mom said she was giving it to you at that time, or whatever.
Yeah, you did.
Okay,
I
and
remember
that's that's right around that 6 year mark. That's why I was like, wait, are we talking about the same thing here?
Yeah, it was a while ago. Quite a long time ago. I think it was like in 2018, maybe something like that.
So was it like a NES, SNES hybrid?
Yeah.
Basically.
I've had one of those before.
But like gameplay experience, probably one of my favorite. Yeah, you would probably think, of course, the Xbox 360 is going to be one of my top. Just because I grew up on it and everything.
I figured that'd be your number one.
Yeah, it was going to be, but I just decided to change it up.
Yeah.
I remember playing like the Nintendo and everything.
You definitely threw us through a shock on that one.
Yeah, I thought I knew what your number one was going to be, but you surprised us.
So like, I played. I think it was the first two Zeldas on it. I played Super Mario World, which you gave to me, Colin. Actually, played the original Street Fighter. I've just played a whole bunch of games on it and just had a very fun time just playing and everything.
Yeah.
Street Fighter's a good game.
Yeah, because you got the Super Mario's World that I beat initially.
Yeah, I still have your account on
there. Oh, Chocolate Land's unlocked.
Yeah. I've probably beat it like 4 times, and I haven't played it in a while. It's at my dad's right now, actually.
Yeah, I don't know. I played it on the Switch Online the other day. But my number one is exactly what Ashton chose, as I anticipated.
Yeah, me too.
I may have changed everything around, but I wasn't going to change around my lunchbox with a handle.
That's right.
The GameCube, first home console, because obviously our first console was the Game Boy Advance. But shortly after that, that's when we got our GameCubes, and again, Luigi's Mansion, classic hit, Super Mario Sunshine, classic hit. Yeah, we didn't beat them instantaneously, but we was 3 and 4 at the time.
Yeah.
Only thing
it
that
took
sucked.
me 18 years to beat Super Mario Sunshine.
Only thing that sucked about the GameCube that people would probably complain about in today's time, not looking back on it, was the memory cards.
Yeah.
Because the memory cards wasn't ever set in stone with how it was. Different games took different kilobytes, going even lower than megabytes here, but different things. But it was always trying to do the math to make sure your save file was going to be on, or figure out what games you was going to delete. So I had two, and one was the Animal Crossing game save disc that, insert that Ashton gave me whenever he couldn't figure out Animal Crossing. So I have that save file thing to my Xbox. I mean, my GameCube to today, and a little purple 4 megabyte one that held, I think, 128 blocks.
Yeah, which isn't a lot.
Yeah, no, not a lot by any means. But yet again, you didn't have to wait for games to download. You just
That was
literally,
nice.
if they saved, the only thing you had to worry about is if your game was going to save or not.
Yep.
Which obviously, if you was anticipating and playing a game for a while, you would delete other games that you'd already beat or got rid of just to save that one save file.
I think about that a lot. Just thinking back, like back in the day, you could just pop a game in and play it. You don't have to sit and wait for it to download. I hate that so much. I hate sitting and waiting. I buy a game, I want to play it now. I don't want to wait until it downloads. I hate that.
Yeah, now downloads are like games are bigger now and everything, so it takes way longer.
Yeah. Well, at the
Oh, yeah.
Switch, I think all of their first party games are you can just pop them in and play them if you have a physical copy. Now, 2K, you still have to download those because they're bigger, but most of the first party stuff and a lot of the third party stuff you don't have to download.
See, even on Xbox 360, you kind of had to download stuff for like updates, but you could just basically play it straight away. You play like the game.
Yeah, you just
Yeah.
pop the disc in and play it
Yeah.
if you didn't want to update it. And
Yep. Because you
but
could do
now,
local
like the
play
Xbox,
instantly there.
yeah, if you wanted to play online, you had to update it.
Yeah, but it took probably like at least longest 30 seconds to probably.
Yeah, it didn't take very long. Now, every single game you play on the Xbox One or the PS4, you have to download. And I don't know about. I'm sure it's the same for the Series X and PS5. I don't have one to test, but I'm sure it's the same. Every single game you have, whether you have a disc or digital download, you have to download it, and play it.
Yeah, I think on the PS5 and the Xbox Series X, the downloads are a little quicker now since the system's faster, but still it takes.
Yeah.
Yep. But I believe we actually only gone through one topic today, which we kind of anticipated happening.
Yeah, since it was the top 5, we figured.
But that's all the time we have for today. You guys say your final goodbyes.
Well, guys, thanks for sticking with us this long. This will be our 7th episode.
Yeah.
I think so.
It's our 7th episode. Thanks for giving us all the listens, and make sure to go check out our Instagram, our YouTube, and join our Discord. Consider becoming a patron. It would really help us out. If you don't, that's fine. Just your listen is enough support, and we appreciate it.
I really don't have to say anything much, but like I said, thank you for all the support on all the podcasts, all the listens and everything. And yeah.
All right. Thank you guys. And they pretty much covered everything that I could potentially say. So goodbye.
See you guys later.
Gear Patrol calls their new dive watch the best sub-$500 dive watch. Full stop. Men's Health rated them as the most stylish solar watch in the game. Who we talking about? It's Movement. They're leveling up your gift giving with the sleekest watches you can buy and the biggest deals of the season. Shop 30 to 50% off Movement's innovative California clean watches, jewelry, and accessories with fast free shipping and returns now at MVMT.com. That's MVMT.com.
At Sleep Outfitters Outlet, great sleep is a big deal. Save 40 to 60% every day on every Sealy, Stearns & Foster, and Tempur-Pedic. Queens as low as $249. Customer exchanges, closeouts, and floor samples. Inventory changes daily, so come in for your dream deal today. With no credit-needed financing, expert advice, and up to 60% off retail, it's never been easier to get the sleep and savings you deserve. Go to SleepOutfittersOutlet.com for financing details and to find a store near you.
Why don't more infant formula companies use organic, grass-fed whole milk instead of skim? Why don't more infant formula companies use the latest breast milk science? Why don't more infant formula companies run their own clinical trials? Why don't more infant formula companies use more of the proteins found in breast milk? Why don't more infant formula companies have their own factories instead of outsourcing their manufacturing? We wondered the same thing. So we made ByHeart, an infant formula company on a mission to get a lot closer to the most superfood on the planet, breast milk. Our patented protein blend has more of the important and most abundant proteins actually found in breast milk. We're the first and only U.S.-made formula to use organic, grass-fed whole milk, not skim. We even conducted the largest clinical trial by a new infant formula company in a quarter century, with clinically proven benefits like easier digestion, less spit up, and softer poops versus a leading infant formula. And we make our own formula in the USA and our very own factories in Iowa, Oregon, and Pennsylvania. ByHeart, a better formula for formula. Learn more at byheart.com.
At Granger, we're for the ones who specialize in saving the day and for the ones who've mastered the art of keeping business moving. We offer industrial-grade supplies for every industry with same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders, all backed by real people ready to help. So you can get the right answers and products right when you need them. Call, click Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.